Hello and welcome back, it's Repulsive Raccoon, aka your favorite trash panda, coming at you with another DarkBlade Ascent video. Today we're going to be playing Frostweaver, and we are once again in the hideout doing the extraction mode. And let's just get right into it. Today's goal is going to be pretty simple. We're just trying to clear this mode and last to the 12-minute mark. Could be a new record for us, so let's see if we can do it. And we're just going to start off by just chasing down a bunch of skeletons. And we are going to try getting level 3 Icy Fragmentation as soon as possible, just because we do have a cold weapon, and we do have that 25% chance to chill enemies on hit. So if we do end up chilling them, we just do a large AoE explosion. And we're just going to be absolutely chasing down these skeletons. Want as much power-ups as early as possible. And there's our second one. We'll get the Glacial Embrace, chills all enemies by 50%. We have Run Speed, Physical Damage, or Increased Damage with Axes. Let's take the Increased Damage with Axes. Kill that skeleton inside our ward. He doesn't belong there. Salvage all these weapons. They're definitely not better than the axe we currently have. Our axe is only level 9. But until we get something that's better, we're not going to be taking any upgrades. The only thing that I'd prefer over the axe is if we got a really good cold sword. But until that happens, this is the weapon we're going to be sticking with. And there's our third level up already, and level 2 Icy Fragmentation. And let's get the Mighty Cryomancer, 23% damage bonus to cold. And we have just unlocked our last kind of passive for the weapons. We got the Netherborn Rage. The less health we have, the more damage we deal. This weapon deals 1% more damage for each point of missing health. It's kind of cool. I have 278 health right now, so if I ended up getting that, and let's say be at 50 HP, that'd be over a 200% damage bonus. But as you can see, the Chilled Explosion doing a lot. When I hit that chilled enemy, the one next to it died and it got dealt 26,000 damage. We're just going to be running around slaughtering skeletons for now. And here's our first boon. Let's see our options. Pain Deliverance, Cascading Strike, and Reflective Thrust. We're going to be going with Frost Gains. Whenever you kill a chilled enemy, permanently gain 1% cold damage. Obviously, because we are focusing on cold, that is what we want to be going for here. And we are already level 4 with level 3 Icy Fragmentation, so we no longer have to worry about it. Global damage increase, lightning damage, or physical damage. We're going to be taking the global damage increase. That was not a bad fire spear, but I'm not a big fan of the spear as a weapon. It can be good for this game mode, especially if you have a decent amount of run speed, because you can kind of just kite the enemies and they won't be able to hit you as you can just keep poking them with the spear. Absolutely just one-shotting these skeletons. They do get a lot harder. It will take a minute for them to ramp up. Got another passive point. There's another cool trick you can do with enemies. I'll let them group up here. It's just a tip for hitting more enemies at once. If you turn your camera while in the middle of a sword swing, you will hit multiple enemies. If you just go like that and drag your thing, I know right there it showed all of them dying, but that's just because the cold explosion went off. But you can indeed hit multiple enemies if you just follow through the swing. If you just go like that, you'll just hit the enemies right in front of you. But it has a drag animation to it, so if you turn your camera fast enough, you will just hit multiple enemies. Let's get Frost Guard, just to get some shielding on top of our chill damage. This is a sword with cold damage, but its passives aren't very nice. It has run speed, lightning damage, and max health, compared to my attack speed, global damage, and spell deflect. So we will not be taking it. There's some daggers, some more daggers. We do not want any of that. And we'll be taking the purple global damage, just a nice 16% damage to everything. Pick up all these items. We're almost at another level up with the merchant. We need 70,000 gold in order to do so. I think in my stash I have about 50,000 right now. So we just got to keep picking up more items and selling that to the merchant. There's another abyssal enemy spawned in right now, so we gotta hunt that down. That way we can get another boon. I'm just gonna chill here. That way we can get a nice amount of cold damage bonus. And Crackling Arsenal, if you have at least 150 lightning damage, we don't have that. When you kill an ignited enemy, we're not gonna be doing that. We'll go with Pain Deliverance here. The other three are not very good. In Pain Deliverance, whenever you damage 3 or more enemies, within 1 second, gain 50% physical damage increase. And as you can see, we damage a lot more than 3 enemies when our kind of Ice Nova goes off. It's not what it's called, but that is what I'm going to be calling it for lack of better terms. And at level 6, we're just going to be getting Glacial Embrace again. That's a 2% attack speed. We got the Elementalist, or the Cryomancer, just cold damage increase. I think I'm just going to go with that, just 12% more cold damage. And salvaging all the weapons. So now that we've unlocked all the passives for the weapons, it does look like whenever we salvage a weapon, we get gold for it instead. Which is nice, just a bit of bonus gold. And we are now facing the pickaxe skeletons. You gotta be careful with these guys. They do attack fast on their first hit. And they kind of swing again a lot of the times, even if you do parry them. Thankfully, our Ice Nova is doing a ton of damage, so I can kind of just swing at these guys for now and not worry too much. Just gotta look out for when I'm getting flanked by them. So I'm gonna go here to the beginning of the room just so I can kind of close off what angles they're coming from because there's a wall here. I just gotta make sure I don't get trapped. Pick up more items. The buff that we really want, or the boon I should say, we'll use our ult first, is going to be the Contagion Balloon. And there we go, we have gotten it. It says killing an enemy affected by an ailment. So if the enemy is chilled, shocked, or burned, it spreads all their ailments around to surrounding enemies. So now whenever we hit a chilled enemy, other areas or other enemies will also become chilled as a byproduct. And now we can infinitely stack up the cold damage bonus that we are getting from Frost Gains. We just gotta make sure we keep chilling enemies and spreading it. Another nice thing is now for future boons, we can take other sources of, like the ignition. There's one that puts like a kind of a fire spout on the ground that burns nearby enemies, and Contagion Bloom will transfer the burn to nearby enemies, which is really nice. As you can see, our Icy Explosion is doing 136,000 damage, where our weapon is doing around 9,000, it looks like. We'll take more Frostguard, can never be a bad thing. Heal. All of these are not the best. I'll go with the pushback damage just to deal a bit more when I do end up parrying enemies. Yeah, so our weapon is dealing somewhere between 7,000 and it looks to be about 9,000 HP. We're not going to count these 20,000s because that's only after I parry the enemy that I'm doing that much. And we are already at the 5-minute mark, and we are still sitting really nice on health. So far, this game is super addicting. I haven't beat the campaign yet. I plan on going back after a few more runs of this. But the art style is amazing. The different builds and synergies you kind of have. We had the elite boss spawn directly on top of us, but we were able to take him out. He did get a hit on us. We have Glacial Arsenal. If you have at least 150% cold damage, all weapons have a 25% chance to apply chill on hit. We do have over 150, and our weapon just has a 50% chance of applying chilled whenever we hit an enemy, which is going to be spread with the contagion, which is giving us even more cold damage. So as you can see, the builds can kind of get really wonky and out of hand pretty fast, which is really cool. Adds a lot more synergies and a sense of feeling overpowered. If you definitely want a cool power trip kind of roguelike, this one's definitely it. You scale up really fast. Like I said, we're only 6 minutes in, but doing hundreds of thousands of damage to these already. And the nice thing about the Frosty Resolve, I believe it is, or at least the Ice Shield, is it's taking a lot of damage for us, so even if we get surprised hit, it doesn't really matter. We got some more skeletons. We got a mixture of enemies now. The nice thing with these skeletons is they're really slow, so I can just chill them super easily, especially if they don't die in a single hit. That way we can just hit them again, apply the chilled, and cause them to blow up. Always make sure you hit the chilled enemy. That way you can just keep spreading it around. Another abyssal enemy has spawned in. I'm going to wait, let them gather a bit so I can use my ultimate. Just so they all blow up. We have another boon. Desperate Mending, if you're below 30%, all healing amplified. The Energized March, I don't think this one is super great. Growling Focus. Your weapon gains damage up to every second, up to 25%. Lose the bonus when you take damage. And Warding Gecko. I'm going to go with Growing Focus here, just because if the taking damage only applies to our health, we will end up being able to take that 25% damage buff, just because it will be attacking our shield and not our health. Not entirely sure, but that's why we're taking it, just to try it out. Physical damage, spell deflect, or attack speed. We're going to be taking the physical damage here. And we're already at the 7-minute mark. And we are just slaughtering the enemies. Nothing's really providing a challenge to us. I don't know what happens at the 12-minute mark. I've never been there. It's probably going to be some final boss of the sorts. Want to make sure I'm not taking unnecessary damage to the shield, just in case I do get dumped by a bunch of enemies. Chilled enemy dead. Yeah, so far this game, at least the style, it's very Elder Scrolls Skyrim heavy. Mentioned in the previous video, but just the more I'm playing it and the enemy designs, it feels a lot like that. The other cool thing, I'll showcase the build at the end, but the build itself can get a lot of different stats on it, which can widely make your runs different from one another. So for example, a piece of gear can have, let's say, like attack speed on it, while another piece has like burn damage or lightning damage, and they can come with a bunch of different options on them. Arctic Fracture, this one kind of spawns an aura at the base of an enemy, and anything standing inside of it takes the chilled damage. It's not super great because obviously the enemies move, We still might take it just because we don't deal any ignition. The lone dominance is not good in this game mode just because we're facing a lot more than one enemy, and then the energized march isn't good. Even though the Arctic Fracture definitely isn't the best, we're still going to be taking it here. I gotta make sure I parry more. The mini-boss spawning on us did deal a decent amount of damage. Felt like 20 points or so to us. And that's what the Arctic Fracture looks like. We'll take a look at our cold damage in a bit just because we are just stacking it exponentially high right now. We are almost level 9 as well. And we are now encountering spellcasters. So we want to make sure we are taking those guys out, dashing to them if we can. That way we don't have to deal with spellcasters and all the enemies swarming us at the same time. That would not be good. We have another abyssal enemy. It's probably going to be a mage. Sure is. We'll use our ultimate here, freeze him, and just chop him down. Choose a boon, and let's see what we get. Blistering Ground is the one I was talking about. Every 10 seconds there's kind of a pool of like lava fire that spawns under an enemy. And the nice thing is as long as it deals one fire tick to an enemy because of Contagion Bloom, it'll just keep jumping around and spreading to other enemies. Relentless Conditioning is also good just because it gives us that permanent 1% to our axe every time we kill an enemy with the axe. But because our Ice Nova does a lot of damage and kills a lot of enemies, this wouldn't trigger just because it's only for weapons. So we'll take the Blistering Round just for Contagion. Bury that spell. These mages can get annoying, but there's that Blistering Ground I was talking about. There's no other enemies nearby to really showcase it spreading. We are now encountering, looks like some knights. We're encountering some knights with mages now, so we just gotta be careful. I'm gonna kind of just run away for a second. My stamina is really low, so I don't want to take too much unnecessary damage. We gotta level up, so let's see what we get. We'll take level 3 Frost Guard, just to give us a nice little layer of protection. Pushback damage, run speed, dodge cost. We'll take the run speed just so we can hopefully kite enemies without really worrying about using our stamina. It's always nice having the run speed just because, like I said, you don't have to worry about actually using anything. You can kind of just run out of the enemy attacks. But there's that Contagion Bloom with all the fire spreading. And then there's a nice explosion with our Ice Nova. We got 30 seconds left until 12 minutes. Another mini-boss spawned in. That is A-okay. We'll freeze this guy. He happened to unfreeze, but our explosion did go off, and we have one more boon. Attract all gold, global damage, rebounding strike, and static gain. We're going to take the Vitality Surge, just 1% global damage for each 10% health I have. Never a bad thing. Unfortunately, that enemy did get a hit on us. I thought he was going to be frozen there. We got another passive point. And we have reached the 12-minute mark, so let's choose one less boon, and now we have the option from all of them. Let's take a look. I'll probably take the Golden Might. That's just a lot of global damage, excuse me. And we are now going to challenge the boss. Baron the Necromant. I believe this was one of the first bosses in the campaign. He is throwing skulls at me. Gotta make sure we are sidestepping those. He's kind of just spamming them out. Doesn't look like we really have an opening. Maybe now. Freeze the boss. Getting close to him is definitely not ideal. That range is absolutely insane. We are almost dead here. Hopefully we can rack up a decent amount of damage here. He's summoning some enemies. I'm going to wait for his shield to go down. Hopefully the shield goes down so we can kind of icy nova these enemies, but it looks like he's using them as protection. And it looks like he is stun locked for the time being, so we're going to try getting a lot of damage here. He's below half HP. We're going to back up. We got to pay attention to the ground here. He's summoning a bunch of meteors. We're going to freeze him here. Just going for a lot of damage, trying to keep our eyes on the ground. He's doing the attack again. He's just summoning more meteors. We're just going to stay close to him. Hopefully we can finish him off here. And there we go. We have cleared the first boss of the first difficulty. And we have gotten some upgrades, hopefully, to our weapons. These are all epic weapons now compared to our blue that we had before. Lightning damage, lightning damage. This is just physical damage, so we can get rid of that. The Arcane Annoyance, a friendly imp follows us around, launching a bolt. Basically a bolt of magic depending on the weapon, so this would be a lightning imp. Let's check the difference between these two axes out. The one on the left seems to be way better with its passive, giving us 5% attack speed. We get 48% lightning damage, max health. The one on the right, the max stamina 48 is really nice. And the passive is really nice, just a friendly imp, that kind of stuff. I'll take this one for now, just because of the imp. We'll salvage that. Let's see what this spear is. I don't think this spear is better than the axe by any means. And we are going to be saying goodbye to our weapon that we've been using so far this run, the cold axe. It has served us well, but we are no longer going to be needed. I believe we are able to head back to the lobby now. Yes, we are. Let's see what our final stats were. We made it all 12 minutes. We dealt 20 million damage. That's insane. Our previous record was somewhere around 5 million. And we will be choosing Stormcaller now just because of the axe. And here's our little imp guy just following us around. See what passive points we have. We're going to try getting to this arc strike. Just the lightning weapons have a chance of shocking now. We need one more before we get there. And then let's see if we got any upgrades on our gear. Global and physical damage on the chest piece. That is definitely an upgrade. If it's under 10, we're not going to even really look at it just because we are getting much better gear than that now. And it doesn't look like we got any upgrades, so we're just going to be selling everything we have to the merchant. That way we can increase our reputation. We have 87,000 gold. We are the current rank known. We're going to increase the reputation. And we have become trusted. Number of items offered 20, maximum item level 20 as well. And we are now getting purple stats, or purple items, and they come with 3 stat lines, which is insane compared to our previous 2. And they are offering some insane bonuses. This is offering us 68 lightning and physical, so we'll be taking that. I'll refresh here. This is more pushback, more physical, more lightning. So we'll be putting our old stuff aside just because of our weapon right now. Attack speed plus 12 with physical damage. It does offer cold as well, so we'll see what else we have. Lightning damage 102 and global damage 56. The damage with daggers is unfortunate, but we're still going to be buying that. There's no way we don't with how good of a damage upgrade that is. And I'll put this stuff into my stash for now, just in case we end up dying, which would be unfortunate, but at least then we'll have some backup here instead of starting over from scratch. I believe this is the second arena. And we're going to be fighting humans now. And our imp kind of just already one-shotting the enemies. This arena is super small. I imagine we can get overrun pretty easily if we're not careful here. So we just gotta make sure we're on the lookout for where all the enemies are coming from. They're kind of just bolting over these steps that come run at us right now. Let's take the Cloud Radius for our Zeus ability, our Call Down Lightning. I'm going to take the pushback damage 400 just because we did just get some gear for it. And we are able to get purple weapons from here. So we might even already find an upgrade for our level 16 epic that we just got. We are trying to stick with the lightning theme now though, just because we are playing Stormcaller this run. So if we do end up finding something, hopefully it's just lightning focused. Don't want to just try swapping midway through the run. Just absolutely massacring these humans. Whatever they're paying, they're not paying these guys enough. And there's level 2. I'll go for the Cloud Radius again. We have Elementalist, Pushback, or a smaller one. We'll go for the Purple Elementalist. And here's a sword with lightning damage on it. It deals more lightning damage, or less lightning damage than our axe. Its stats are not the best, and it doesn't have the imp. I kind of like our little companion that we have right now. Enemies killed by this weapon's ability creates a restoration wisp, so this could heal us potentially. I say that I was just talking about how we liked our companion, so we're gonna be keeping him for now. He just passively shoots out a nice little bolt for us. We did just get a purple ring. It is definitely not better than what we got. We got that insane ring just a moment ago. I can't say the imp doesn't do a lot of damage. 8,000 just kind of every second or so is very nice. We got our first abyssal enemy. We'll call down lightning. We'll go for a parry, push them back, and close the gap and pick the boon. We'll take a golden might just for that global. And we're taking a lot of damage already from these enemies. Gotta make sure we're not getting overrun. We definitely don't want to die here now that we just started getting purples. So if we have to back out, drop down a difficulty just to farm up some gold, that's a-okay. Gold damage, max health, and swords. We'll go for the max health. And that is a sword. I like how now it's giving us all the cold weapons. That would have been really nice. So this arena in itself, the enemies aren't a whole lot harder. We're still dealing with them pretty easily. But they group up on us just very quickly. There's a purple helmet. We'll check that out in a second. Just don't want to take any unnecessary damage. Let's check out that helmet while we can. Global, daggers, and cold is not better than what we currently have. We have lightning and physical just double dipping on our weapon. We'll probably see how far we can go until we start encountering new enemies. Then that'll probably be our cue to dip, just because these enemies deal a lot of damage to us already. About 20 points per. I'm gonna head out here. We're just gonna ignore the boon. And that level up could not have happened at a better time. That way we can open the portal and just salvage some of these pieces. And then take our gold and leave. So we're definitely going to want to get some pieces with some max HP on them. I don't believe there's any with like defense or anything like that. Let's open the tree here. Go lightning again. So far, I feel like the cold weapon is just infinitely better than the storm. Obviously, we had Contagion Bloom early, but just because Frostweaver does offer us that little bit of shielding and that AoE explosion off rip, where I feel like a lot of the upgrades for the Stormcaller rely on getting a lot of the boots. Let's see what we can sell to the shopkeeper and what we can buy. Attack speed, max stamina, run speed. We're not going to take that here. I'll refresh once or twice. Max health and lightning damage. Max health is really nice, but the other two unfortunately are not. Fire, cold, attack speed, nope. A lot of purples here. Global, damage with swords, and increased physical damage. We'll definitely buy those. It's just immediately better than the boots we have. And gives us a nice little damage with swords on top of it. A better cloak would be nice, and same with a belt. But we can't be too greedy here, obviously. We are now just getting purple, so 3 lines means a lot more variety. If the stats can double dip on themselves, meaning like we can get like 2 max staminas, that would be insane. I so far have not seen one. Max health, max stamina, and attack speed. I'll take that just to hold on to it. And I don't believe I'm going to have enough money. Actually, let's sell these boots real fast. Global and max health for the bracelet. And that is a lot better than what we currently have. Let's throw these in the stash for right now. And with that being said, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We ended up beating the first difficulty of the hideout, the extraction mode, and we have unlocked difficulty 2, but it's probably going to take a little bit of grinding. You're going to need a decent amount of purple gear with some good stats on it. But with that being said, until that happens, until next time, take care.